Hello friends. Now that I have my sunroom all tidied up, I'm not ashamed to let you see it. Today's video is about my plans for tomato plants. But since this is the first time you'll see the sunroom, I guess I should give you a look around. And while I'm at it, talk about tomatoes. These tall plants here, they're tomato plants. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types, 6 different types of tomatoes. I was doing research last fall and found you could overwinter peppers. Furthering my research, I also found out that tomato plants are perennials in some locations. So I thought, what about trying to overwinter tomatoes? Last spring of 2017, I bought 2 Indeterminant tomatoes, a beefsteak type, Better Bush they're called. And this ripening tomato you see here, that's the plant that it's on. Better Bush plant that I bought in spring of 2017. I've gotten several tomatoes off that so far this year. I brought them in as the weather got cool. I let it get too cold and the plant died. You see this dead piece down right here? That was the original plant. So the top portion died and it grew back from the base and is now about 5 or 6 feet tall. The other tomato I had was called Tumbling Tom. Very nice cherry tomato. It produced in abundance. It was a determinate tomato though, and it finished its initial flush and then lived so much longer and the plant died. Both of them. The other plants that are here, besides for that one with the ripe tomato on and the one in the center back there, are plants that I started back in October, so they've been growing all winter. Once the temperature gets above 15 degrees Celsius, they start to grow, and if it stays long enough, they will flower. And they've been flowering for some time now. This is Starfire Improved. I've got several tomatoes off that one. I'm not happy with it. The tomatoes stay kind of hard until they're gone too ripe. There's a tiny Tim there that's not doing very much. This one here I like. It's called Yellow Pear. There's some bigger unripe ones there. The few that I've gotten so far was really small. This one is getting close to ripe here. They're delicious though. I thought there was some tomatoes on this vine. They look like a Romo. Oh no, it must be Yellow Pear as well, because right there, at first they look like they're those Romo, or however you pronounce that one, tomatoes. And a third one. Now, what was happening was I had all these tomatoes over here in this tray, and I was thinking that I would wait until the weather warmed up and I'll put them outside. And the vegetation was getting worse and thicker and thicker. And one day I decided that I would try to straighten it out. So I brought in those tall stakes and straightened all the plants out, and I realized how big they had actually gotten, and I said I won't be bringing that outside. And so I've been thinking about how to grow tomatoes. I'm going to replace all those. Instead of trying to transplant them out into something where I can move them around well, I've decided that I will grow a new set and put them in something that I can move about, in and out. And in the process, gardening is an experiment. I had initially thought to start them in these little 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter cubes. I had a soil cube maker there. And indeed, the ones I have started, I did start in those cubes. And then I add these cups, just your regular red cup. I have a hole cut in the bottom so that it's easy to put the soil out when it comes time to plant them up in a bigger pot. I found that the biggest stress on the plant is actually disturbing the roots. When you're transplanting from inside to outside, one gets its roots disturbed, dies right away. The other one, without its roots disturbed, all the other factors being the same, lives perfectly well. I have my potting mix here. I would put a bit of soil in the bottom like that, and then I would take a block which would have had a seedling in it, place them down, and tuck soil in around the seedling. Then I would take this cup and I'd put it under the grow light, so the grow light would be here, about here, and grow it up, and as it grew up, pack soil in around it. Now, this is what I did with these. And as you can see, the cotyledons, what most people call the seed leaves, are up to the top. So the actual seedlings to the seed leaves it starts down here, and it's growing up to the top of the cup. A fairly long seedling. The plant is doing fine. And then I thought about these. They're those little plastic shot glasses. Once again, I put a hole in the bottom and melted it with my wood burning tool. I tried with the drill, but they're too brittle. You have to put too much pressure with the drill and you can snap these. So I used the wood burning tool and put a hole in the bottom. And then I had put the block in there with the seedling in, once the seedling was above the height of this, and I filled it up with soil. But I thought, you know what? That's inefficient. Just pack a bit of soil in the bottom like this. You drop your tomato seed in, and then just another 1/4 of an inch on top. Moisten it, put it back to germinate. I have some amaranth in this one, but this is basically what I've got down here. And when the amaranth comes up, I'm going to tuck some soil in around it to have roots a little deeper. But in that way, you could put the grow light down close to the cup, and you don't get as tall a stretched out one. Here is cherry heirloom tomato. I set them all out in this tray, 72. It's the same tray that the Jiffy Peat pellets sits in. So I've got 72 cups in here, column 1, row 1, and then I've marked it out on here in pencil so that now when I remove this one, I can erase it from here. And if I put something else back, replace it with the appropriate name. So this is cherry heirloom tomato. I have I think this is a Tiny Tim, and this will be Starfire improved. So, what I've got now, I'm going to plant this into one of these cups. I don't know if I need that much soil on there. With the old soil that I had last winter, the roots didn't grow very well, but they're growing really well in this new soil mix that I have now. So I'll put that down in there. Drop soil in among them. Now, you see he's almost to the top of the cup, so I'll set him in some water to bottom water, and then I'll take him out, set them in another tray. I'll put them under the grow light, and the grow light will be close to the vegetation on top. Now for the next step, I thought of another thing. I made these. These are 6 feet tall. And I have backyard hens, and I had to buy feed for them, but I can't return the sacks these are this is a feed sack from hen's feed, and I'm building up quite a collection of these because, as I said, I can't return them to the place I bought the feed. So I was watching Callie Kim. Of course, she likes to grow bags, and I thought the feed sacks, they would work. So now, I'm going to get down low, and these are the yellow pear tomatoes. So the two yellow pear tomatoes over there, their first is going to be replaced. I grew 6 just to make sure I had enough. And and look at the pile of roots. He's got a great root system. I lay him down there on top of the plywood square. I'm going to pinch off the lower vegetation. Just leaving these 4 branches up here. Now that'll be a very strong container grown tomato. The plan from here is to, when it starts growing some more, I'll nip off the top and get it to grow 4 shoots. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 vine for each corner. So I'll have a 4 vine plant growing 6 feet tall, and I will keep it trimmed to the top. These plywood squares that I have here are 10 inches by 10 inches. That gives me the same area as a 5-gallon bucket. So I don't know if you need 5 gallons, but I'll bring that up a little bit more. I can pull up the sack, you see, as it gets higher. So from here, I'll train the vines over to the post, and then I'll pull up the sack so much and cover the vines that are coming out, so it looks like the tomatoes coming up from the 4 corners. Now I've planted 2 of the yellow pear tomato plants. And I've taped the label onto one of the uprights. Yellow pear tomato. And over here, your second yellow pear tomato. So I can easily move them out. I suggest you take the bag and all. So here's what it looks like full height. And I'll grow my vines up either side, and I'll trim them off just the height of this. This cage can go through a standard door height wise, no problem. So if I want to bring them outside, I just take one of those little hand carts, put it underneath, and I can wheel it wherever I want to wheel it. And since I only wanted to keep 2 vines, I want to show you now how well this has grown with a mixture of this one. It looks like I have some garden soil in it, the composted wood chips, and there should be some store-bought soil mixture among there somewhere. The roots are coming out the bottom here, and this hole, what this hole was for, was that I could put my finger in and push the plant out. The soil is quite soft, and it does crumble where there are no roots. But look at the root system. It grew very well out through. So I have a good set of roots on this small plant. And now that plant will go in compost, I guess. Let's see. That one has some garden soil. This one I think is more just the store-bought soil and wood chips. And you can see it's really dark on the bottom. Let's push it out and see what we got. Not as many roots, but still fairly good. And the plant is a little smaller. So that's what I got with the system of doing it. You start them out in the little shot glasses, and then you transplant them down into the bottom of this cup and yield the soil up among it. The original seed was here, so most of these roots are not from where the original seed base was. They're from higher up on the plant. The soil was up this high. So the lowest temperature I recorded there was 2 degrees, and that was with it minus 21 Celsius, so 2 degrees Celsius in here, just a little bit above freezing. It was minus 21 that night Celsius outside. The tomatoes, they survived just fine. Didn't seem to be any effect, any negative effect on them. Below 15 degrees Celsius, tomatoes don't grow. They won't grow. They won't flower. But they won't die if they don't freeze, apparently. Peppers, on the other hand, every one of my peppers except for an Apache pepper, it died. The Apache pepper, it was looking the worse for wear. So the peppers this year, I'm going to have them inside in a warmer place. I'll probably have them growing all winter in the 20 degrees Celsius that will be in the house. Here I'll be tomatoes, and I'm going to be experimenting with the cooler season crops all winter. The kale and lettuce, broccoli, to see what I can get to grow in here during the winter. Peas is another one. You can grow peas for pea shoots. It might be beans, but we'll know. I'll let you know during the winter. I'll have updates over time. And boy, I'm sweating. It's not extremely hot here today. It's probably up about 25, 26 Celsius, which is Newfie boiling point. But it's very humid. It's light rain out there now, so we got a humidity of 90 to 100% and 26 degrees. It's muggy.